Hey everyone, Egman here with another video. Today we're going to go over the invitational top 16 for the Richmond event. A lot of like couple things. One, I only had found the information for the invitational one, not for the open one, so I'm only going to cover that. But it's also, as you can see, there were like a lot of different decks. This is really cool. Like I bet Mark was almost like running out of colors for all these when he was for this. So really cool that there's so much diversity, and I think this is a great event for kind of like the last hurrah for this meta. This is officially the last big event until the ban list hits on the 26th for the core TCG California event, and then after that Set 7 comes out. So all that I want to just pretty much go over just all the decks. I'm going to go look at all top 16, but I also want to put it kind of on a lens of what I kind of predict for next set. So I don't want this just to be a bunch of decks that might not be seen ever again. You know what I mean? Just because it's a new meta, I want to give my spin on it, just so there's a little bit more information for people who are watching that. So a couple other things. One, this was like I think 80 people showed up. But they only had 4 rounds, so there are a lot of X and ones that didn't make it, which is a little unfortunate. I think the official ruling or the official rule book said that they should have played until there's only one person who was X and one, but there may have been some like either a misunderstanding there, or maybe even something with like their venue having to be out by a certain time, something like that. So that's a little unfortunate, and that might be part of the reason why there's so much variety in here. But I'm not going to delve in too much. It seemed like the event still was pretty great, and we still got a lot of stuff to go. So let's go into our first deck. So we've got we've got Eric Hill's Broly Victory Strike here. So nothing that I don't know. Like this is a really solid archetype. It's been a thing for over half a year, right? Because almost half a year, right? Because almost half a year. Pretty much since Son Goku Path to Greatness came out, it's just been abused in a lot of decks, and I think this is the best one to do it, really. A lot of flexibility. He's using the Marshall package, including the Master Roshi, Marshall Meister, Marshall Master. The Meister is the next to him. I think that's a really good call, especially when you're using the King Piccolo Limitless Power. You can pop your own things. It can look like you can kind of do like a fake out where you've got like everything tapped out, and so your opponent's like, oh, he doesn't have another attack or anything like that, and then bam, just pop your own guys, and then you get King Piccolo out, and then you can just kind of do like a surprise double attack on top of all of that. So I think that's really cool. This deck can go aggro, or it can go into Victory Strike against the more controlling matchups. So all of that. Moving forward, I would say I think this deck, what needs to happen is that it should be more aggressive on the main deck, and then maybe side the Son Goku Victory Strike package against decks that can't counter it. But I think there's like a lot of options to get rid of the Victory Strike. Like there's more options than there used to be. So just something to keep in mind, especially since Minus Killy's going to be gone, Cold Bloodlust is going to be gone, and also Battering Laser. So and Shugash, really, like all 4 of those cards were in this deck here. So it's definitely a nerf to this deck. The core of at least this one, and it will be interesting to see how it moves forward. I think the Yellow Broly leader is too good to not see play. It's just going to decide like what it's going to go into. But I think that this package can still work. Even if you just use High's Mastery as your finisher, I think that works a lot of the time, and just have Victory Strike on the side, and matchups where you can use it. So, but really strong deck, and congrats to Mr. Hill. Next up, we've got David Sublet's Universe 7 Frieza, and so these next couple decks, they're all going to be Victory Strike builds, and most of them are going to be Wish builds, except for this Frieza. But I kind of lump them all together here, just in the sense of that all of these builds more or less depend on going into the Victory Strike, and that's almost your like just your only win condition, pretty much. Just being able to stall out your opponent, gain advantage while they can't, they have to self-awaken and that kind of stuff, and then just bursting out the Victory Strike. I'd say Frieza has a little bit more options. At all costs is a great win condition, but in general, you're just stalling out and hoping to get out the Victory Strike. I don't think I kind of said this with the Broly profile, but I don't think this is going to be a valid strategy moving forward. It's going to be a lot more of a glass cannon, and I think people will probably still run it, but I don't think it's going to be as dominant as it is now. I think there are too many options, and I think there's too much counterplay without being able to once again use minus Achilles zone. I just don't think it's a viable strategy moving forward. So, but I still like this build. It's really fun. It's using full power spirit bombs on Goku instead of using the path. I think you can still run path as well, but if you kind of want some more variety as he did, there's that. Also, Trunks power overseeing time in the main I think is a really cool thing, especially since if you have like Victory Strike in hand early and you don't have any other pieces, you can ditch it early and then just Trunks it later. So there's that, battering laser, and some objections too, which are really important for getting to that turn 5. So anything else? A 3-star ball inside. That's crazy. That's crazy. And Broly, the rampaging horror. I don't know why that's there. Maybe it's just a good luck charm. Right, because there's nothing, you can't really go into it, right? You've got exactly 4 green cards, or no, you've got 7 green cards, so you can, if you charge all of them, you can go into it, but yeah, there's nothing like that. So next up, we've got Brandon Bowling's Victory Strike Purunga. This is, I think, very similar, if not exactly, the build that he was running when he went in, what was it, Indy? Yeah, Indy. So still really strong, obviously. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just the Mutaidos, which didn't exist back then. I think that I put in his main. I think one new power. I don't think he Purunga in the main either, but yeah, just really strong strategy. Once again, you just this is strictly stall out, and pretty much the rest of these Shenron's builds are really similar. Just gain lots of advantage, find your Victory Strike, and be able to cheat it out with. For Purunga's case, you just use your 4th desire, or sorry, your 3rd wish to bring him out for free. You can bring out the path for free, or you can bring out Purunga or Bulma for free. And if you already have Goku on the field, just go from there. It's all that. You can also use Personal Ambition for free to get like an energy gem tap, so you have stuff open. So lots of just cycle there, and just really solid. So you just tank up and go from there. Next up, this is Matt Spitzer's version of Chile Limo. Really like this build. I think this is almost, not to like toot my own horn, I think this is almost my build. Big changes are that took out the Roshis, but for Mutaidos, and then also took out took out something else. So 2 battering lasers in the main. I think that's correct, just because of what's going on. 2 Shenron Figure of Majesty. That's good too. I really, this was a late addition to this build, and in my opinion, is shout outs to Sandy. But I think this really brings the build together. Being able to go into Shenron's just an alternate win condition, because you can bring them out for free and then put a crit on High Mastery, and then your opponent loses when they're not expecting to. Minus Achilles zone in the main as well. I think that's important. But yeah, super solid build. You can't. I feel like there's not a lot you can change for it, and then just pretty much generic stuff there. 4 cold bloodlusts, which are going to have to go away. Minus Achilles zones, which are going to have to go away, and battering lasers. So this, I think I've already said. I'm pretty sure the Chile version, as it stands now, is completely dead. I don't think there's enough flexibility. This is 100% Victory Strike or bust. Sure, Shenron Figure of Majesty can, in Height of Mastery, but Height of Mastery can still get Mutaidoed, and then you're just kind of sat there and you just use all your energy and resources. So I don't think it's gonna do well, and I think we're gonna move on. But maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll be surprised. So, but congrats to Matt and his performance. And then lastly, a Dragon Ball version, pretty ding dang similar to Brandon's build. The only difference with this version is that you have to run World Peace, but it gives you an alternative win condition by using Height of Mastery. You can just win with this itself. I don't think that's like the main win. Like the thing is, like getting Height of Mastery out is the issue right now, just with the Mutaido. So I don't think it's like too terribly helpful unless there's a way to like restand, which I don't think there is right now. I think the Purunga and the Shenron version, I think it just has to come down to just personal preference. But I think they're pretty similar in a lot of ways. So, but congratulations to Charles for that. Let's move over to the other Shenron decks. They are the Gogeta ones. So, I don't think I think Gogeta is probably going to be in the same kind of space it's been for like the last couple of weeks. It's been surprising to me how well it's been doing compared to it has in the past. I remember when what was it, when Storm was nerfed, or like when Goten was banned, and there were a couple other cards, but Goten was like the biggest card that was banned, and there, everyone's like, "Oh, Storm's dead. We're gonna all go to Shenron Gogeta," and that didn't really happen. There were just a lot of decks that are fast enough, and just in general, if this deck wins by getting to turn 5, and so if you can win before turn 5, you can't, they can't really do anything, right? So, but I will say it's a super duper strong win condition. Just being able to kind of tank up and then drop on turn 5 a triple attack, barrier, deflect that you can also give triple strike. Or sorry, I think I mixed that up. A triple strike that can get triple attack. That's pretty powerful, especially with without even resetting your opponent's hand. That's powerful, but with that added in, I think it can do a lot. I think games are going to start to get slower too. I can see it getting to like a turn 4, turn 5 meta. So that's where Gogeta is going to thrive. So I can see this. I think this is going to do pretty well in the next set. I don't think there's anything that really I think the game is moving to more control-y, and so I don't think there's anything that I've seen next set that can really that this is worse than, right? I think this is a really strong and already built deck. So then, and looking between the two builds, there's not like a lot of wiggle room either. You just pretty much have your Gokus and your Gogetas, right, and your Dragon Balls, and then you want to run your Pirangas and Shenrons just for those abilities, and you just keep going from there, and then World Peace. It makes a lot of sense. It is interesting that the two versions that were run by Jordan Wallace and Anthony Figueroa, they are both the mono blue versions, so there's no Mutaito, which is really interesting. I will say Anthony's build is interesting. It's running the Supreme Kai of Time. That's pretty much it, though. I think, he's also running Super Dragon Ball. I think that's the correct choice. I think you can get super greedy with this deck right now, so why not? Mirror is a really interesting choice there. You can't play Mirror and then give it triple attack because you just warp all the Dragon Balls, but that's interesting. This is a really interesting sideboard, just being able to go with all that's a really interesting choice there. And then and this is, I'd say, was more of a standard sideboard. Food Shroud and Mystery can still just win games. So in general, I think this will be out of the gates, I think one of the more powerful after the ban list. I think this deck is going to be pretty represented in California, Pasadena in 2 weeks. After that, it will really just depend on how fast the meta is. I think that's the biggest indicator of this deck. If games get to 5 energy, this deck does really well, and then if games get in before that, then this deck does really poorly. So, but looking at what I've seen so far, I think the meta is going to be slow enough that this is going to be relevant again. So there's that. Next up, we've got Skillless Goku. So there are 3 tops. They were all blue yellow, except for Corey Davis's. This is also Joey's Paladino's deck. Shout outs to Crossworlds. His deck is pretty similar to how he ran it at the other regionals. It was the ARG Invitational, right? That's what he went to. And then also, let's see, and then Jared Dunn's. Once again, blue yellow. But I'd say, I think in general, Skillless is going to just be fine. Maybe it will be like tier 2, but I don't think the engine's so strong. It's so flexible. You just pretty much build a deck around what colors are needed, and so yellow is really important right now because you can run Mutaito and you can run Bad Rings and those kind of things. So was Jared running Mutaito? I guess not. Interesting. I guess he's working. He's focusing on the Zarbon to Bonds of Friendship. Son Goku combo. But I think this is so super strong. A lot of strong stuff there. And it can just be really flexible too. Like it can be a Gogeta deck too. So if Gogeta is super strong, then you just have Son Goku Gogeta and just go from there still. So a lot of options. And just the fact that it's a black leader still, they didn't really release any counters to black leaders. And in fact, I think they might have done like 1 or 2 support cards. I don't really remember if they're black specific, but I just think there's just so much power here in this engine that you can just gain so much value and just kind of chip away at your opponent that it'd be, I don't know, the game would have to be completely different for this kind of like tempo-based value, play style to not be good, especially with how flexible it is. I think there are a lot of cards that came out that this deck can randomly support because you can pretty much tech any color you want into this engine. So I think that's really cool, and maybe we'll see like a red or green version of this deck. Maybe I don't want to be crazy, but maybe. So there is all that. Congrats to Jared, Joey, and Corey. And now we're going into kind of like the more one-ofs of everything. So I would say like the Pan, Hurrah, and Vegeta Baby are kind of the same, just a little bit. They're all kind of chain tech Zeno, but with different takes on it. So we'll go over that. But let's first look at Mill. My favorite deck to cover because they're not like the same deck every time. Jokes aside, I think Mill's still going to be, in the very least, I think Mill's going to be a gatekeeper for the meta. Just kind of like how it's always been. It's just very consistent. I don't think there's been an event in the last this year. There's probably been maybe 1 or 2 big events that it did not top at. This deck is super consistent. Maybe not the best at winning tournaments, but heck, it's the best at getting the top 16s at tournaments. So it's always on everyone's mind. Everyone hates playing against it, and that's fine. But I think there's a combination of if this is a big problem next meta, I think they finally released some generic counter cards for it. So that's something to look forward to. But I also think that this deck can more powerfully switch into yellow. So there's that. I don't think there's anything too crazy. There's like that new. I'm gonna look it up right now. Also, this was Devin Butters' deck. So congrats to him. He got 4th, I believe, top 4. So there's that. But what card am I thinking about? Frost Deadly Poison. So this is kind of like a Crusher Ball and a Cold Bloodlust wrapped into one. So the battle card your opponent plays, play in rest mode with a skill negate for duration of turn, then draw 1, and then if your life is at 3 or less, choose up to 1 of your blue or yellow energy switch to active. So this can just be really powerful in the right deck. So I can see that be a good reason to run blue yellow, especially with the addition of like these blue yellow cards that say negate energy exhaust from there. You already have some Janemba stuff too, and all that. I think there are some good reasons to at least try it out. I know it's been a lot of people have been thinking about blue yellow for a while in that regard. So I think there will be some experimentation there, but I think there will always be people who play this with the current iteration. I think it'll always do okay. I don't think it's going away quite yet, but I don't think it's going to be as devastating as it's been in the preview. Like the beginning of the year, Janemba was super duper good, but with Tien around and now with the option to tech into refilling your drop area, refilling your deck from your drop area. With those new cards, I think you've got more of a chance if you really don't want to lose to this deck. So there is that. Congrats to Devin. Next up, we've got Neil with his Toa. He was able to make 2nd this past weekend. Love this leader. I think it's really cool. It's really one of the cooler decks that that have come out. I really am happy that Toa, is doing as well as I thought she would. A lot of people thought, like, oh, Toa's terrible. You don't get any value on the backside. But I really do like this leader. It really puts a lot of thought into when you awaken and when you want to stop gaining value. And I really hope that they become, they make more leaders like this where you can't, it's just not like, I can awaken right now, I should do it. It should be more of a decision, and it's kind of like, a point of no return. So I know some leaders are like this, but nothing I don't think is as serious as this. and just game changing. So I think it's a cool leader, and I think that more leaders should kind of be like that, or there should be some more experimentation. So I look forward to that. And there have been some newer leaders on set 7. A lot of them have new, awaken flip abilities. So I think that's awesome, and I hope that continues. So, but rant about Toa aside, this deck is great. There are a lot of things that it does well in the meta. Being able to just do some hand destruction, but and just, I don't know, just steal your opponent's cards, and just, I don't know, it's just really great. You're just really consistent, and you can really just dictate how the game goes. So I think this will stay around next set. I'm fingers crossed that the skillless version will come out on top with the new skillless card that comes out. But I think this core is fantastic, and it's really nice to see the 7-drop mirror being played the way it should, kinda. You know what I mean? So. And once again, I think Toa, the backside, being able to remove a skill for 1 energy, is really underrated in a lot of ways. I think it's great, and I think it can help this next meta as well. So all of that aside, this is fantastic, and I think Toa is going to still be out. I think it takes a lot more skill to play this deck than it looks like. So I think that will be a more limiting factor than I think the strength of the players will be more of the limiting factor than the strength of the deck. So all of that aside, congrats to Neil, and let's move on to Travis's Pan Zeno, and we're just going to look at all of these by itself. So I know Vegeta is a bit different because it's more of the baby engine that can also happen to fit the Zeno, but I think there's a lot of good stuff right here, and just the idea of being able to chip away at your opponent, use chain attack if you need it, and really just and go from there. So some new cards that Pan got to play with. One, the Trunks Surge of Energy. For 2 energy to get a 20k body that draws 2, that's fantastic. These Bardock's Awakened Instincts, being able to kind of do the same thing for 0. You just draw 3, discard 1. That's absurd value, and a lot of just cycle, which I think this deck need a little bit more of, just the cycle to be able to find your Zeno pieces and stuff like that. This can also pitch your extra Zeno pieces. All of this is fantastic. And one of the biggest things I think this deck is hindered by is just the option of being Cold Bloodlust. And I don't know, it's going to be a weird time because there are a lot of counterplays that do exist, but it's not it's more telegraphed, right? You have to leave 2 energy open, and all that. So it can be obvious when it can happen, and you can kind of change your plays from there. But minus Killer Zone getting hit kind of makes this deck a little bit worse. I mean, you can just assume like you'll never find your minus Killer Zones, but I think this deck will be. I think Chain Attack Zeno is in an all right position. I think people are still going to be playing. People have been playing Pan for Chain Attack Zeno for over a year. Can you believe that? It's been relevant for over a year, and I think it's just going to still be relevant. It's just such a good leader, so generic. Being able to get support from there, that it'd be pretty difficult to not see Pan at one table somewhere at some event. So I think people are going to keep playing Pan forever. I think that's a good idea, and it will be interesting to see how it does in the future. And Pan got some support too with the new Desire. I think that Desire card's broken, and so I think that'll help the deck as well. But really cool stuff. And anything else? Side deck's pretty standard. Being able to have Tien Shinhan in your side is just crazy. I think that just brings a lot of power to the deck, and I think there's also some new counter cards that Pan can play too, and then you can get some value on your opponent's turn, and then get some extra card draw, that kind of stuff. I think that's going to be seen a lot. So there is that. Congrats to Travis with his Pan. Next up, we've got Eon Hills, blue red Hoodagarn. It is almost the exact set 5 nationals kind of build going around. New cards added are Food Dark Banisher, just one of the best generic end game cards in the game right now. Being able to just drop 4, have 3 attacks coming in with 25k to your opponent, that also has some hand destruction to it. This card is so good in any hand destruction deck, just as a finisher. Your opponent's already low on resources, and then you know, if they want to stop all 3 attacks, they have to have 6 cards in hand, right? They have to activate a card, discard, and keep going from there. So, you know, 4 energy for 6 cards of discard at least is, I think, a really good value. So, there's that. And then I guess Body Change Ginyu is the other one. Nothing too crazy here. Playing M2. Like, I don't know. Like, we haven't seen this deck in a long time, and I think it's a good meta call to run it. I think Sano, if you're able to do it correctly, is just a lot of value and can set up just on a lot of plays. So, I think that's a good call. I wonder why the objections are on this side. Maybe just to get to Fu earlier, or like foreseeing hit. I'd say that looks a little interesting to me. I'd be interested to see why he decided to add those. And I guess burst attack or burst energy Bardock for worst case against what the 3-drop Goku, or like I guess maybe like wings. I don't know. Seems interesting. I think burst energy is fine. Would be interesting to hear why he put objection there. So next up we've got I almost exited out of it. We've got Aaron Levi's or Levi's. I think it's Levy's. Or Levee, Aaron Levee. Sorry, Aaron. We've got just a baby deck. We haven't seen baby in a while, probably not since like celebrations. A lot of people, at least in my circles, just keep saying like people are sleeping on baby. Baby's coming back. It's gonna be great. And you know, event comes and goes and nothing happens. But it's nice to see this one pop up. Just kind of remind people, hey, this is a deck, and I think it will get some traction coming up next set. So that's really cool. You know, if you don't know, the baby chain is you have 2 of these 1-drops, and then from there you go in with a 2-drop Vegeta or just another one into the 4-drop, and then the 4-drop goes in the 5-drop for free, and then for 1 red energy you go into the 6-drop and just go from there. So and then being able to reset with Chain Attack Zeno already, and just the fact like Revenge Death Ball is such a powerful card, and a lot of people are saying it's the fact that you're able to run After Image and Revenge Death Ball, the 2 of the most like critical cards for playing Victory Strike. I know a lot of people are saying, you know, when probably High Mastery was doing so well, and even Super Strength on High Mastery Victory Strike, that, you know, why not just play baby? It has a good matchup against it, and I think that's true, but I think it has some poor matchups across the board, and there's so much stuff right now that maybe it did so well just because, you know, the confusion of the meta. But I think this is a solid deck, and I think it's something that people should keep coming back to see if it's well and good still, and I think right now it's in an okay place. So going to set 7, we didn't get any direct support. I'd have to think of some of the red cards that were added. Nothing really comes to mind, but maybe there's some cards I'm not really thinking of that really help this out. But I think it'll do all right. I don't think it can really dabble into multicolors since you have to be so specific in your red energy. But maybe there's some funky way to do red green, but not off the top of my head. So there is that, and let's move on to the last deck. This is Scott Dashy's announcer. Announcer deck that he brought. It looks pretty similar to the one that he took last week, 2 weeks ago. I think it was last week. But I don't think he did well last week to top, so I don't think you should really change anything. I think he added an extra like Son Goku Jr. and I think he had some more bad rings. I'd have to let's do it right now. Let's do it live. Let's do it. We're doing it live. All right. This one, Columbus. Is it this one? No, it's the other one. Oh boy, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it the smart way. Yeah, he wouldn't be in the open. He'd be in the big thing. All right, Dash. Oh yeah, there were 2 events last week. That's why. He was in the Montreal invite. See, I know my stuff. On like the 3rd guess of 4. All right, here we go. All right. Nope. Oh, did I delete it? Oh man, I am hopeless today. Aha. Okay. Aha. All right. I'm not gonna cut this. I'm too tired. All right. So this is the new one. This is the old one. All right. Aha. Okay. So, what he added was a pan he added a Sengoku Jr. He took out a he took out a King Piccolo, and he took out an announcer, and he also put another Bad Ring in, and that's pretty much it. Maybe another Power Burst, yeah, and he probably took out a Bean, maybe? No. Oh, he took out a Vegeta, and then also a Babidi. Yeah. Yeah. And then he had like some stuff on the side. Alright, there you go. I don't know why I did that. I'm tired. It's late. But I love this deck. I think it's something to try next set. Not having Bad Ring really sucks, but that's probably alright. Maybe, I don't know. Like, I think you really depend on getting these big triple strikes in, and so without having any insurance on that, I think you can kind of fall by the wayside sometimes, but it'd be interesting to see. You just get so much value, and you can get so much card draw and put so much pressure on. It'd be interesting to see if it works out. I think if he, I don't know. I think the 5-drops might be a little bit too ambitious next set, because they can just be stopped by 2 negates, and then you just kind of feel bad that you spent 4 energies on that. Additionally, like the Babidi, the Mastermind, it can be stopped by like some of the counterplay stuff really easily. So I don't want that to be. So that could be a really big hindrance. If anything, I could see the deck being more of like the slow, the more aggressive with just using. You can use these Son Goku and Vegeta Juniors, and maybe like these sensitive strength stuff. We'll see. I think this is a solid build, and I will be interested to see if it can survive in set 7. I think it has a chance, but I don't know. I'm not going to invest in the cards yet. So that's going to be it for me. Sorry, I'm kind of falling apart at the end. It's probably just a little bit past my bedtime, but I hope you guys got something from this. I hope it wasn't just me blathering about an event that, of the last time of a meta, and more of, oh, look at some decks that I can't wait to try and put the set 7 cards into. So that's gonna be it for me. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you all next time.